So I've recently been seeing a lot of discourse online about who would win in a potential fight between Terence Crawford and marvellous Marvin Hagler. Now, I want to talk about this because, yes, Terence Crawford is more than just a flavour of the month fighter. Of course, he's coming off the biggest win of his career against Canelo and has nailed himself in history as one of the pound-for-pound goats of the sport. But we're talking about marvellous Marvin Hagler here. Terence Crawford has not got it in him to beat a marvellous Marvin Hagler, in my opinion. I think stylistically, he would be so different from anything Terence Crawford has seen before. A guy who's truly capable of fighting in both stances. Not a guy who's a orthodox fighter who could fight southpaw or a southpaw who could fight orthodox. He could do it both truly as well as he could fight in each, stance. He could fight brilliantly in southpaw, brilliantly in orthodox. Crawford is a southpaw. Now, of course, the legendary southpaw he had trouble with was Ray Leonard. I believe Ray Leonard was a southpaw. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. Ray Leonard's strength in that fight was his speed. And that's the advantage that Ray Leonard has had against everyone he's fought in his career. Speed, right? Nobody has been able to match Ray Leonard's speed. Even now in boxing, at these weight divisions, I haven't seen anyone that punches as fast as Ray Leonard. Benavidez is up there, but he's not as quick as Ray Leonard. I don't care. No one's as quick. No one had the speed in their hands like Ray Leonard had at those weight divisions. You could show me a flyweight or a featherweight who had crazy speed. Of course, you're a lot smaller. But Ray Leonard was a guy who was fighting at middleweight, even fought at light heavyweight, and just had incredible speed. Now, for Terence Crawford to have the same outcome against Marvin Hagler that Ray Leonard had, he would have to fight similarly to Ray Leonard, and he's not got that in him. Not for 12 rounds. No one other than Ray Leonard could have done that. Maybe a prime Roy Jones. Maybe a prime one Roy Jones, because he would have been so hard to pin down. But I think Marvin Hagler is going to be coming forward against Terence Crawford. I think Terence Crawford would be very competitive because Terence Crawford would be able to land on Marvin Hagler. Terence Crawford would be able to set up enough punches to walk him onto something eventually. But I don't think it'd be enough to stop Marvin Hagler. And I don't think it'd be enough to stop Marvin Hagler landing on Terence Crawford too. Like Terence Crawford, he took some of Canelo's best shots, but he didn't take a sustained beatdown from Canelo at all. Because credit to Crawford, he was able to use his footwork and get out of there and stick and move brilliantly. Not many guys can do that to Canelo. One of the best in the world Canelo was. But I don't think you're doing that to Marvin Hagler. A prime Marvin Hagler, you're not just sticking and moving. Because he's going to be on you. And there's not going to be these periods against Canelo where Crawford was sort of just comfortable. Marvin Hagler had a punch called the gazelle jab, which was famously known for closing distance. Now, there'd be times when Crawford would probably be chilling, thinking he's out of range, he doesn't need to engage yet, and then power. That gazelle jab's going to be there. And before you know it, Marvin Hagler's on top of him. And he's clinching him, he's holding him, he's weighing him down, he's trying to slow him down, he's weighing on that body, throwing shots inside. He's going to make it a brutal fight. That's what Marvin Hagler does, that's war. That's why he would, run down the beaches shouting war. That's what he done. Right? And the only person that could sort of weather that storm was Ray Leonard. And Terence Crawford is no Ray Leonard. As good as Terence Crawford is, he is no Ray Leonard. So in my opinion, I think Marvin Hagler would win this fight. Not easily, because no one beats Crawford easily. No one has an easy fight against Terence Crawford. I don't care who you are. No one has an easy fight. But I think Marvin Hagler would be able to do enough in a 12-round fight to beat Terence Crawford. But I'd be super curious to know what you guys think of this fight. Looking at both guys' resume, looking at the styles, because ultimately it is styles that make fights. You can look at resume all you want, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is styles and how each guy fights when they're in there. Because if you may be a guy who's lost to tons of world level guys, but you've got a style that on any given night could beat a guy like Terence Crawford, for example. If you've got that style, then it doesn't matter. Your resume doesn't matter. What matters is what you do when you're in the ring. So yeah, like I said, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of this fight. Do you think it'd be an easy night for Marvin Hagler, or do you think Terence Crawford could beat a prime, marvellous Marvin Hagler? I'd be super curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.